So I think the FTZ adapter is the biggest Nikon launch. Is the biggest Nikon launch this season. So this Tamron 35mm 1.4 SP, it was launched I think in 2019 end, around that time. This is my most favorite 35mm lens, okay, and but this is an F mount lens. You get this for Canon and for Sony for the DSLR mounts, and so they made it for all their DSLR for all the DSLR mounts, the major brands. And this is one of Tamron's, and this is one of Tamron's, and this is one of Tamron's, and this is one of Tamron's best lenses. So this is heavy, and now what I do is now I use this lens with the FTZ adapter, right. I also use this 85 1.8G, this one, right. This is a very good lens. There's a lot of color fringing that I don't like, especially purple and green, but then it's a sharp lens. It gives nice bokeh, soft, nice bokeh. It's fast and accurate. So I've kept this lens as well. Now I've sold of all my, like I've sold of the 24 to 70, 2.8, all those lenses I've sort of gotten rid of. I've sold the 50mm, and I've kept this too because I find them very useful, right. And in fact, I'll even say that I like this Tamron better than the Z lens. Maybe because of the depth of field, the shallow depth of field, but overall I feel that this has got more character. Now, this is why this FTZ adapter is very important for me. This is very valuable for me because for about $200 it unlocks the power of so many great lenses, and this is relatively much cheaper compared to if you look at Nikon's own lenses, right. In fact, this 1.4 lens is as much as the Z 1.8 lens. So, and it's true for a lot more people who have more expensive f-mount glasses, right. So people who have 1.4 Nikon lenses, the 85 or the 105, and you know, the list follows. So when the news about the Z9 came out and they said that the new FTZ adapter news is actually true, that Nikon is coming out with the second version, I thought this is a very welcome change. I'll tell you what, this FTZ adapter already does pretty well. This one already does quite well with the Tamron, with the Z6, and on the Z6 II it does even better. So a lot of the FTZ's performance depends on the camera itself, but you must remember that when the Z6 II and the Z7 II came out, there was a firmware update for the adapter, for the FTZ adapter, and after that update, the performance of this lens and also this 85mm lens was actually improved quite a bit. It was visibly improved for both bodies, but more so for the Z6 II. And I'm sure when the next generation of FTZ comes out, this one, it's going to, my expectation is that it's going to work even better with the Tamron, because the Tamron on the DSLR is absolutely amazing to work with. So in short, what I'm expecting is that the FTZ adapter is going to do a lot for a lot more people than what the Z9 will do. The Z9 is a great, exciting piece of news for most people, but even the 100 to 400 lens, it has a limited appeal, a very high amount of appeal for a limited set of people. But the FTZ adapter, oh my god, that is relevant to everyone. So I think the FTZ adapter is the biggest Nikon launch. Is the biggest Nikon launch this season. This lens autofocus performance is great when it comes to photography, but for video, This lens, like I said, it does a little bit better with the Z6 II. It's just smoother in terms of transition and getting the focus right and all those things. My expectation is that with the FTZ II, we're going to see even better performance. It could go two ways. Nikon can say that, look guys, now we've got the FTZ II. We are going to make sure that the third party f mount lenses don't work as well with the new adapter. So if you have to use this new adapter and get the most performance out of an f mount lens, buy a Nikon f mount lens. But that would be very protectionist, and I don't expect Nikon to do that. I expect them to kind of actually unlock the power of all f-mount lenses, regardless of the brand who makes them, right? So now we do not know the details of the adapter. We know that it's going to be improved in terms of performance, autofocus. It may not have this this protruding part will probably not be there, because this can be a bit cumbersome to use when you are using it on a tripod. Even when you are using this cage, like this is a small rig cage for the Z6, for you to seamlessly use this adapter, this FTZ adapter, you need to have another plate which will sort of level this. You see, there's a level difference here. This is higher, so you need to buy another plate. So you just have to add more and more accessories, and the entire setup becomes heavy, more cumbersome. You lose some of these smaller accessories, and that's a loss. So we would all like it to be simpler to use. We'd like to be even lighter but faster to autofocus. Now a lot of people will say, will it autofocus the D lenses? I don't know, guys. I mean, D lenses are usually older lenses. I don't know if we're going to get the best performance out of those D lenses on these superb new bodies with these new sensors. I'm not sure. And because so much of the crib around the Z system has been about the autofocus speed and the speed of shooting and all that. If you're really serious about all that, I'm sure you will think that the D lenses are not as fast as the more recent G lenses, right? More automatic lenses. So I do not know if they'll have a motor inside the adapter to sort of move the focusing elements inside a D lens. I don't expect that to happen, but if that happens, it's a bonus, because there are some lenses, like I think the 135mm f2, I think, right? There's 135mm f2 and there's a 180mm 2.8, if I'm not wrong, which are D lenses, right? So owners of those lenses will benefit out of that. And there are also cheaper lenses, like there's a 50mm, which is a D lens, and the list can go on. But overall, my expectation is that it's going to have a smaller footprint. At the same time, there's one more very important thing. You see how Canon have sort of offered a slit, and you could use a slit on the adapter, where you could just push a filter through it, and an ND filter or some such filters. So what happens is that you don't have to use a filter at the front of the lens and on the front of the lens at the same time. So what happens is that if you're able to kind of slip a filter inside the adapter, you don't have to have a front filter, because when you have a front filter, you have to constantly change the front filter according to the lens that you're using, the size of the lens that you're using. So you'll have to probably carry more than one filter. But in that case, if you have, that you might need to use an ND filter, you might have one. So the Canon implementation I think is more convenient, and I am at least looking forward to that sort of an implementation. So that's it, guys. I think this is the most exciting news if you kind of look beyond all the drama, all the excitement around the Z9, around the 100-400, the 85-1.2. In fact, I am debating, should I have the 85-1.2 or the 105-1.4? They're different focal lengths. You get different output out of them. One is faster, more classic sort of portrait focal length. On the other one is slightly more niche, at the same time not as fast as 1.2, but plenty fast enough. But so the question is, I'll probably get a used 105 1.4 for about 1,000 to 1,200 US dollars. I've seen that, and I think I can get one if I'm lucky. But for the 85 1.2, I think it will go up to somewhere between 22 2300 US dollars and new, and we are not really expecting discount on that, right? So I'm debating, and if that if this FTZ adapter turns out to be a very good one, exciting one, just the one that I'm kind of looking for, then the conversations will open up, and I'll probably even look at some of those exotic f-mount lenses and maybe skip the 85 1.2. I'm not sure, I'm just thinking aloud, I'm not sure, but I'm lusting for the 85, of course, but it just opens up new possibilities. Maybe for the people who are wildlife shooters, you don't have to actually go and get a Z mount 100 400 or 200 to 600 immediately when these things come out. You may be satisfied with the existing f mount. I think it is a 200 to 500 lens, right? So those lenses may work better with the new adapter, so that's something to look forward to. So overall, in terms of efficiency and costing for most the wider sort of Z mount users and potential Z mount user, it's a very good news. And I think from one side, Nikon is attacking the market and asking people to upgrade to the Z9 from their professional flagships, DSLR flagships, maybe the D4, maybe the D5 and D6. On the other hand, by offering the new adapter, Nikon is asking the mid-range and the entry-range guys to look at the Z mount again and say, you know what, if you're using the 7200 or if you're using the 750, maybe it's time for you to look at the Z mount and probably look at a Z6 II or a Z7 II, or maybe get ready for whatever comes next, and you will be able to use some of your existing lenses without any problem. So it's going to be a slow and gradual transition for you. So I think that's a very smart thing that Nikon is doing, and I think strategically it makes so much sense, and I'm really looking forward to it, guys. What do you think? Share your comments. If you get the new FTZ adapter, and if you think this satisfies your needs, what kind of lenses will you use? What kind of f-mount lenses will you not let go, and sort of instead of letting them go, you'll keep because there's now a new adapter? Let me know down below. And at the same time, also tell me, does that create a conflict in your mind when it comes to whether to go full in the Z system in terms of the new lenses, or to see, can I get cheaper used great f-mount alternatives? So I think that's going to be a question for a lot of us. What do you think? Let me know. And if you like this video, do like the video and support me and help this channel grow, help me reach out to more people, and do subscribe if you like this content, and see you with another video very soon. See you.